live on the air. I'm Richard Sales.
This is wild.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Sale, and today, as you can see, I'm the middleman, and we got a very special episode today. One I've been trying to get in the works for years. It is our All Cousins podcast episode today of Lounge Time. Okay, my cousin Frankie, first time on Lounge Time, and my cousin Nikki, who, believe it or not, was my first ever interview to all the people who watched in the OG days. He's back. He was there last season, Frankie's first time. Guys, thank you so much for coming on.
You got it, bud.
Thanks for having us.
So, as you can see, they both have their Cowboys gear on. We'll get into that game in just a moment. We got a lot to go through. So, we're going to start off with the game that's going to tip off in a few minutes. We might catch it up a little late after this, but that's fine, which is the Bengals and the Bills. A lot of us, we did our own brackets. We had this matchup, all of us did second round, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we all had it second round. Now, both teams did play division rivals the week before. Both close games than a lot of us expected. Is there any concern, you think, for either team, despite playing each a close game against their division rival, and there's their little, rust? Because Buffalo's been in a lot of close games as of late where they haven't been able to win those in years past. Cincinnati's been on a hot win streak, but this is a little bit of a tougher task going into Buffalo as opposed to hosting a home game in Cincy. So is there any concern, you think, with either club in terms of the Bills being in close games or Cincinnati now kind of dealing with a tough road environment in the playoffs? We're in Buffalo, it's snowing right now.
I was going to say, pregame, we had the pregame on earlier. We see it's snow, so I think that definitely favors the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
I don't think they're, division rivals usually play each other close.
Right.
It didn't happen last night with
Giants Eagles. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
I don't think they really need concern for that. They play each other 3 times. It should be a close game.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the weather's going to matter much, to be honest. I think, if this was like the Dolphins or something, then maybe. But Cincinnati plays in a cold place.
Yeah.
They practice outside. They got Joe Cool. He's used to he can play in anything. You put this guy on the moon and he'll be fine. I think I don't think the weather's going to be much of a factor.
Okay.
I think it's going to be great though because they didn't get to play their game this year that they were supposed to play. It ended up getting cut short, of course, as we all know, and it's going to be interesting to see how they come out and what happens. Like you said, the Bills are faltering a little. They're winning, but it's not like they're usually winning. It's not. They're not making it easy.
Yeah,
they're getting there, and the Bengals had a rough start, but now they're starting to pick up steam. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of last year.
Right.
It reminds me of last year where Joe Burrow and the Bengals kind of got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
It was like they were struggling, they were going back and forth, and then they just started rolling.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's going to be a repeat of last year or if this where the train derails,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Becky, you want to add?
It sucks that we got robbed of a game that, really looked like it was going to be a good game,
Definitely,
too. It was going that way. We'll see. I think, the only reason I say the weather is because I think Buffalo's going to be able to run a little bit better than the Bengals would. The Bengals want to air it out, get it to their great wide receivers.
Right.
Have Joe Burrow, fling that rock like he does.
Get into a rhythm, him and Jamar Chase,
That's the only reason why I would say that I like this.
I hear you. I hear you.
I mean, in the little bit we did get to see, Burrow went right down the field. I believe it was their opening drive.
Yes, they did.
And Allen and them kind of got a field goal out of it, so they got stopped on 3 and out. And then, as we all know, like you said before, so in the little bit that I've seen, and I know it's a very small sample size, but Buffalo struggled with a third-string quarterback with basically playing house money And you wonder just a little bit, Skylar Thompson is a third-string quarterback, and he's not of the same ballpark with Joe Burrow. Now, this is a whole different animal. A team that's won probably the second highest win streak behind the 49ers, which we'll get into in a moment. I just feel like for Buffalo, this is where I feel like they're going to struggle because I know they won in KC this year, early in the year, but Cincinnati is of that firepower on offense. Now, their defense, I've said it's underrated because they did a good job with Allen holding them 3 and out in that small sample size, and they somehow have a secret sauce to defending the Mahomes, and we'll get to the Chiefs later. But I think Allen. I just read this tweet. I don't know if either of you saw this, but it's the Brian Daboll effect where Allen was a turnover machine before he got there.
Yeah.
When Daboll gets there, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league of the last 2 years. Obviously, he's still won this year, but when Daboll leaves, he's leading the league in turnovers this year.
Yeah.
So I wonder if maybe Josh Allen turning it over is going to be a huge advantage maybe for Cincy if they can cash in on that. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
I think this game comes down to Cincinnati's defense.
Right.
I think it comes down to the last couple of games. The only way the Bills win these games is when Josh Allen is Superman.
Right.
Now, he can be Superman. He 100% has proved that he is Superman a lot of times. He can go out there and win the game himself. But if you shut him down, I don't think they have any other weapons. I think that team runs through him.
Yeah.
If he plays like Superman, like we all know he can, totally possible.
Yeah.
They're going to, be the Bills that we've seen. But if they somehow game plan for him and they shut him down and they make other people win this game, I just don't see it happening. Yeah. I think Joe Burrow's just going to be able to take his offense. They might not score 50 points, but they'll score enough.
Right.
They'll make it. They'll do enough to win.
Yeah.
And I know their offensive line is beat up, but I feel like this whole year their offensive line has been beat up, and Joe Burrow can still get hit 50 times a game and still win.
Right.
Which is insane, but we've seen it happen.
He's proven to do it.
He's
2
proven
years.
it. So
But no, Josh Allen's got to play a clean game.
Exactly.
He can't throw an interception. He can't fumble. If they want to beat the Bengals today, it's got to be a clean game from Josh Allen.
Yeah.
For sure.
Want to put a quick note out there. I think Jonah Williams is out today, and I believe the right guard Kappa's out today.
Yeah, they had to shuffle around the whole front line, so it's
going
to be rough.
That's a big X factor too for the Bills. Is that 2 starters for the Bengals line are out today, which that's kind of the one thing that their best shot is to get pressure on Burrow, but he gets rid of it quick, where it becomes a game within the game.
Old man Von Miller can get a sack.
Rile himself up again. I mean, that's the thing. Any other team, I'd be like, well, they're missing their entire offensive line. This is going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
But we've seen Joe Burrow. I mean, last year he led what was it? I think they led the league in getting sacked.
Yeah.
Right. And they still made the Super Bowl.
Right.
And they only lost by the
game.
last play, right into the last couple of minutes. Any other team, I would be like, no way, not possible. But they've proven it time and time again.
Yep.
So it's kind of tough to go against that.
Yeah.
But I got the Bengals winning this one.
Yep.
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be a great game. But I got the Bengals on this one.
Yeah.
Nicky?
I love Joe Cool.
I got 31-28 Bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still close.
Yeah, close game.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna go down to the wire.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Go down to the wire.
So you have Cincinnati meeting the Chiefs.
Yes, I do.
AFC Championship. That was in your bracket.
Yep.
You have the Bills meeting the Chiefs.
I have the Bills meeting the Chiefs.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure I get your brackets clear because
Yep.
I don't have the graphic I could put up there quickly, and it would have to take a little time to put that up there. But that's okay. So let's go into your team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Hold on. Who you got?
Who do I got?
Yeah.
Well, I have my bracket. I gotta be okay. Let me be careful.
You
what
can't
I'm
be
about
let
to
off the hook.
No, I know.
Part of the cousins.
Let me be very clear. As I've said on Guarantee, it's for those who follow it, I have family that are Cowboy fans. My 2 cousins here. My uncle, my first episode of the season. And my dad, who sits right in that chair, who does it. If you guys win, I'm happy. Okay? I am happy. But if you want me to be honest, to go into San Francisco, it's been a long time since you've gone there and won. They're hot right now. I mean, that defense, the weapons on offense, and I just find it so hard to see you guys pulling off the upset. So I have the Niners painfully, but I'm happy if you win. I want it to be clear. I want you all to be clear. I'm happy if you guys win. Seriously, I am. It's just, if you ask me right now, that would be the way I'm leaning. I picked them on
I hear
my
you.
playoff one. But obviously, I know you guys are rooting.
The glass slipper's got to come off Purdy at some point.
It came up with the Giants and Daniel Jones.
It's got to come off at some point. He was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. I mean, you got to give Kyle Shanahan all the credit in the world.
Right.
He's proven himself to be a top, I would say top 5, maybe even top 3 coach in the league. He just does it and does it and does it with anybody.
Yeah.
But again, there was a reason why this kid was drafted last.
Yeah.
Almost went undrafted, and I think this is also going to be a really close game, and I want the quarterback with more experience at the end of a close game, and that's going to be Dak Prescott.
Okay. Frankie, you want to add?
So I do have a confession to make to everyone. If you look at my previous bracket, I actually had the Cowboys losing to the Buccaneers. So I didn't even have them in this game. Let me put it this way. Nobody loves this team more than me, but I'm also the hardest on this team because I demand so much. I think I hate the Cowboys so much, but yet they're my favorite team. They just frustrate me to no end because I know how good they can be. But I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a hard game. Like you said, Kyle Shanahan has one of the most quarterback-friendly offenses, I think.
I agree.
And I think he's got this system where you can put people in and they can succeed without having the long experience and these tough growing pains that so many other quarterbacks go through. It's like he makes it easy on the quarterback, and it's very successful.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting. The other flip side to that coin, though, is this Dallas defense just hunts quarterbacks.
Right.
They love to just pressure, and they don't need to send a lot of people to do it. They can really. They remind me of the Giants in the old days when they. Sorry to say this, but when they beat the Patriots, when all they had to do was rush 4, and they still get pressure. And you got Micah Parsons coming off the end. He gets held every play, and it still disrupts everything.
Yeah.
So is this young rookie going to be able to handle that? And that's the thing, though. Kyle Shanahan's offense is designed to handle that. He's designed for quick passes. It's designed for getting rid of the ball fast. It's designed for all these things. So it's going to be real interesting to see who can execute. It's really just going to come down to who can execute better and who can. I don't think it's going to be trick plays. I don't think it's going to be weird game plans. I think you're just going to run what you two guys know best, and whoever can do it better.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be a chaotic, funky game. I think it's going to be we know our system, we're going to run our system, and whoever runs it better is going to win.
Exactly. Stop us or don't stop us.
The Green Bay Packers with the sweep. We're going to run it every play if you can't stop it.
And there's just something, it's going to be a gorgeous game to watch, man. There's something about those uniforms, when those two uniforms play each other. Those red 49ers and the blue Cowboys, man. It's always just...
Especially us two growing up, because we're a little older. But we grew up with all those 94, 92, 93, where it was just them two met every year. Yeah. And it was they were this new rivalry when we were younger. Yeah. And it was fun to watch. Steve Young, Joe Montana, those days, it was great.
I was going to ask you stories about that when I was going to get there. But I'm going to kind of point to 2 things with Dallas and San Francisco that I think I want to ask you both on. I'm going to start with Dallas first.
Sure.
Obviously, Dak Prescott has had some good moments this year and has had some bad moments this year where he played the best game maybe of his career last week against Tampa Bay, albeit the Bucs were not the Bucs that we've known the last 2 years.
Right.
Now, I want to see with him, because the bad is he, I think, led the league in interceptions this year, especially that Washington game was bad. I think one play
he missed 5 games.
Yeah.
He still led the league in interceptions.
Yeah, that's alarming. So, but this defense is, I would say, better than Tampa and a different animal. And they're another team that can only rush for 4, where they don't have to blitz.
Yep.
They've got Bosa, they've got Armstead, they've got some nice pieces up front where they're tough up front physically. Are you concerned with, like you said before, what team can show up and Dak with the turnovers? Are you a little concerned about that at all? Does that come into mind a little bit?
I'm very concerned. I think when it comes to a lot of Dak's interceptions, so there's two points that I want to make about this.
Go ahead.
I would say a large percentage, well, not a large percentage, but there's a good amount that really aren't his fault. There's been a lot of those interceptions where they come from tip passes, or he's throwing it and it hits the receiver right in the arm, flips right into the defender. Yep. Hits him right in the hands, flips right into the defender. So when he's throwing these, 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions a game, that's not the full story. Right. Now, that being said, the other half of those interceptions are totally his fault, and he is not throwing the ball very well. It's like, should he have 4 interceptions a game? No, but 2 of them, those are his fault. So it's kind of like it's not as bad as it looks, but it's still not good. Mm-hmm. He definitely is turning the ball over more than he ever has. Right. And as much as we, a lot of people who watch the games and Cowboy fans will tell you, like, hey, not all those are his fault, but a lot of them still are. Mm-hmm. He's turning it over, like, say, 3 times a game. 1 of those is the receiver. Mm-hmm. 2 of them are still him. He's still making bad passes, and you can't win in the playoffs doing that.
No.
It's just not going to happen. Yeah. You're not going to be able to come back from in a hole like that against these teams, especially not the Niners, who are just on fire.
No, you have to play your best game against the
Exactly. Niners. And out of anything like that, even without the interceptions, I probably think Nick Bosa scares me more than any other player on that field.
Yeah.
I think he is terrifying. I think there's, like, the closest person to him was, like, early Micah Parsons this year.
Right.
And he fell off towards the end of the year. Nick Bosa did not.
No.
Nick Bosa is a animal. Right. He is like a J.J. Watt, Lawrence Taylor game changer of a player. And I think that's going to, like, show the older he gets. But he's everywhere. Yeah. He's in on every play, and he just dominates the game. Mm-hmm. You have to change when he's in the game.
Right.
You have to pay attention. You have to really be afraid of that, and you have to alter your game plan. Right. So that he scares me more than anybody else on that field. Mm-hmm. The offense and Kyle Shanahan, all that, like that's cool, but that's like footnotes. Nick Bosa, I think, is the game changer that we need to focus on.
Yeah.
I think he's the one who can force you into these mistakes. He can make you, and Dak will not be able to run like Dak likes to run. He won't be mobile because Nick Bosa's too fast and too strong. And he'll just get you. And that'll be that.
Look at what he did to the Seattle game. He completely changed the Seattle game.
He takes over games.
Right.
He takes over games.
That strip, fumble, sack, literally changed the game for
Great example.
So
I think he's the number 1 impact player in this game, in my eyes.
Wow.
But, I think you absolutely have to be concerned with the Cowboys and their consistency. I mean, for at least the last 10 years, they've been a Jekyll and Hyde team where you have no idea what you're going to get.
Right.
You can get,
it's a good way to
like
describe
we got last week, where we look like we play like that, beat anybody. Yeah, right. Beat anybody. Right. And then, a week before that, we shit the bed against Washington.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's why I was like.
Horrible against the Commanders. And then they come out looking like superstars.
Exactly.
But you never know. It's just, I mean, we'll see. I think they're going to rely more on the run game today. I think that's going to be where I hope, at least. You never know with Kellen Moore because sometimes he gets... He outthinks himself a lot of times. He knows he's so good, and he gets 2 in his head, and then we're running a triple reverse, and we lose 12 yards. And what are we doing? Like, why are we doing this? Just hand the ball off.
Tries to get too smart sometimes. I agree,
but
I do like him as a play caller and offensive coordinator.
Yes,
generally speaking, but
he just needs to tone it down a little. But
comes with experience.
He's still learning himself.
Yeah,
he's young.
Comes with experience.
He was our 3rd string quarterback like 3 years ago.
Exactly.
So it's wild. But it's wild that Dak Prescott was starting over this guy, and now he's taking play calls from him. It's an interesting dynamic, but you can see they get along very well.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. I think they gotta, if they want to win this game, they have to rely heavily on the run game.
25 plus runs.
I think the 1-2 punch of Zeke and Tony is like phenomenal.
Yep.
Right.
Another stat that I haven't seen thrown around much this year. I'm not 100% sure on this. Should double check, but I'm pretty sure. I don't think Zeke or Tony have fumbled the ball and lost it this entire year.
I don't think so.
I don't think they might have put it on the ground, but there are no lost fumbles for either Zeke or Tony, which is wild because Zeke had like fumbleitis the last year and a half. So it's like that is an unsung stat that nobody has really talked about much. But I feel like if you keep it on the ground, just keep pounding the rock, I think they can control this game, control the rhythm, keep the offense off the field, and when the rookie comes in, make him win. And that's a lot of pressure. You got to put it all on that guy's shoulders, and it's like, hey, you can't be Mr. Game Manager. You're going to have to win the game for us.
Right. And
I think that's where every rookie kind of crumbles.
Exactly.
It seems to be like an age-old story of when, Bill Belichick was the master of this. And that's why he has such a good record against rookies. He'll take away everything else except that guy and be like, you win the game. And it's a lot. It's a lot, man. Not everybody can handle that.
That's it.
Now, let me take one element with the Niners a little bit, where I wanted to bring up to what you were saying about the Kyle Shanahan scheme. I think obviously Tampa has the worst rushing attack in football, and I think the Niners are significantly better in that department.
I agree.
Because of the blocking scheme. It's very unique. Not a lot of teams run that specific scheme. That's why you're seeing a lot more general managers now going outside of that Shanahan. Sean McVay is a good example. He comes from that Mike Shanahan tree in Washington, where Kyle Shanahan's father had that scheme.
Daniels in Miami.
Mike McDaniel, I was just going to get to that too.
Yep.
Do you think that their ground game is going to be their X factor in terms of like what they want to do? Because I think they're going to go more to, they're going McCaffrey carries for sure, but they're also going to get touches for Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk. Do you think that element worries you just a little bit?
I feel like they're going to play this game where they use the ground game to open up the passing game.
Right.
So I'm not so much afraid of I don't think they're going to have 100 yards rushing. They're not going to be the pound the rock team personally. I think it's going to be more to just keep the safeties honest, keep the linebackers
and Parsons,
honest.
they're going to run at Parsons and try to keep him all,
trying to neutralize him a little bit without a doubt.
Get in his head so he's not just pass rushing. You got to run at him a couple
but
times.
I think it's more. I think it's significant, but I think it's more of it's going to facilitate the offense.
It's not.
Yes.
I agree with you.
It's not your.
It's their jab.
Yeah.
It's their jab.
Exactly. It's your jab. It's not your right cross. Your power shot. It's your setup shot. Yeah. But you need it, and I think they can transition to relying on that. Yeah. Like you said, they have Christian McCaffrey, amazing. It's going to be there. It's going to be there if they need it.
Right.
But I feel like they're in trouble if they have to rely on it. So it'll be interesting. Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys have not great run defense. So maybe they will come out with that a little heavier. And maybe that'll be the game plan that they go for. Mm-hmm. I can see that happening for sure. It's a good point.
Yeah, that's why, because Tampa was more throwing team early in the year.
Exactly.
And when I look at some of your past playoff games, I look at the Rams when C.J. Anderson had that crazy game against you guys in the Coliseum, and I look at last year where they had a couple runs that San Francisco hit last year in Dallas, and Deebo had, I think, a touchdown as well. I just worry about that part with you because I think your front four is more built to stop quarterbacks in the pass.
Definitely.
Pass-heavy teams.
Yeah.
And I look at your run defense against that unique running scheme that they have. That worries me a little bit with you guys. That's why I ask you,
Van Der Esch linebackers have to play well.
Right.
Van Der Esch has to make tackles. You got to make tackles.
Right. So.
And that's the thing. They're so good against the pass, but they do let up the run.
Yep.
And that's what worries me is, you'll get them thinking about the pass, especially in that offense where it's just so crazy
and everybody's wide open.
And
you're so worried about,
they hand it off and the guy breaks for 25, and that's the momentum right there,
So obviously our brackets changed. I know your bracket
got busted.
Yeah, it got busted.
All of ours got a little. Well, I know mine got roughed up a little.
I think mine got roughed.
Not crazy, but
I think me and you had similar picks. We had, I think, 2 games we might have disagreed on. Chargers Jacksonville was one, and then I forgot what the other one was. I think we all took Minnesota, so it wasn't that game. I'm just trying to think on the fly quickly.
We didn't take Minnesota, but I felt like whoever won that game was losing to the Eagles anyway. Right. We both it was okay, whoever. And even if it was the Vikings, you ain't going nowhere.
And even if it was the Vikings,
they were gonna get blown out by the Eagles as well.
So it wasn't
I think so.
I think it was Tampa and Dallas. I think that was the one. I think
maybe
you had Dallas.
I picked Tampa.
Yeah,
I had no faith in the boys.
Yeah.
But I think if they win tonight, I don't think anything's stopping.
No.
I think they're
rolling. No, just because they're going to get in that mentality.
Yeah, I think.
I agree as well.
If they win tonight, they'll make a believer out of me. That's for sure.
Interesting nugget before I go back a little bit in time for you two. The last time Dallas went to the championship was 95, but the last time they played the Eagles in the championship game was 1980. When the Eagles played the Raiders in the Super Bowl back in New Orleans. So that's an interesting nugget for you, historians out there too. So now let me go back to the time machine and go all the way back to the glory days for you guys. As you alluded to earlier, the early to mid 90s were dominated in large part by your Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers that you mentioned up. So, I would like to get kind of your favorite memories from that era. Take me back a little bit to those times, those games, things that, made you either happy or or the other games where it just drove you nuts but you realized that matchup, for people that don't know, that was basically the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was at a time where those games, it was just the Bills and the Bills were running over everyone. So whoever on the AFC was kind of like, well, the Bills are going to be in the Super Bowl. And unfortunately, they lost 4 in a row. But it was like there wasn't much excitement on that side. Whereas the NFC was more of like, you didn't know who was going to make it, but there were a lot of good teams. And there was a lot of fun in the earlier playoff games. I feel like the NFL today, in the last couple of years, has a lot more parity to where there's a lot more close games in the playoffs. The Super Bowl has been pretty good, but besides a couple stinkers every now and then. But like, for the most part, it's been close games. There have been like exciting games. Yeah. Back when I was younger, at least, I remember like there were a lot of Super Bowls. You could have turned off at halftime if you really wanted to. Like we had, what was it? Ravens Giants was a blowout. Right. The Cowboys games were all like almost they were blowouts like right after halftime. It was like, teams were winning like 35-7 a lot of times, and it was like nothing. Nowadays we're all spoiled. We have like every game is awesome, so I'm very happy for that. I'm pleased, but it was I remember a lot of games where that Cowboys team in like 94, 95 though were just juggernauts. Mm-hmm. There was no stopping them. The biggest argument was who's going to score the touchdown, not Will. And it was like, that's where I think like Troy Aikman was very underrated. It was a lot of, people say, oh, he's a game manager and his stats don't really reflect that. But he was like a movie producer with like 11 superstars trying to just say your lines. Stop ad-libbing. Stop doing what, read the script. Right. Do what I tell you to do. And he commanded that huddle. Mm-hmm. You would have Irvin in there. Nobody could cover me. Throw me the ball. I'm just going to catch 100 yards. And he could. You have Emmett. You have Leon Lett saying, we just got to pound the rock. This guy can't block. This guy can't tackle. I'm blowing him off the ball. And then Aikman gets in the huddle, and it's silent. And it was whatever he says goes. And yes, sir, we do what it was underrated. And I think they were a sight to see, that team.
Nikki, go ahead.
For me, I'm a little bit younger than Frankie, so I was born in 91, so like I was like under 6 years old for those teams. So my memories, my core memories with the Cowboys are really the Tony Romo years. So it's more misery filled than anything. Oh, man. The one that sticks out, of course, is the Seattle game, where he muffs the
field goal.
Yeah, and
almost got the first down.
Almost. Almost.
I thought for sure he got it when he went. I was like, he got the first down. I remember exactly where I was.
Yeah, for me, I was a little too young to remember those teams.
Oh, okay. Because back then that was whoever won that was going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like a 3-4 year stretch.
And you had the Bills who the NFC East is just their kryptonite. Right. It's almost like this year. I remember reading a tweet where it's like, oh, the Bills are good. Well, the NFL's autoimmune system is just make the NFC East great. Like they're the white blood cells who are like, wait, the Bills are good this year? Oh, we're gonna put 3 of them in the playoffs.
Let's go.
Giants are in, Eagles are in, Cowboys are in.
I know.
And the Commanders almost made it. It's like for some reason, whatever the cosmic rays are, they decide that the Bills are good. Gotta make the NFC East good. Mm-hmm. So it'll be pretty heartbreaking if I could really see the Bills making it and the Eagles beating them in the Super Bowl. Like, that's a very big possibility. Oh, man. And I will feel for Buffalo. Like, those guys something about this division is just evil to them, I don't know. But,
man. Yeah. 0-4 against the NFC East.
0-4. And in a row. Yeah. All in a row. Poor Jim Kelly. Just every year gets there. And then the kicker misses a kick and, wide right. Yeah. That was the first one. And it just never happened. Never happened for him.
Thurman
Thomas. They had a great team, too.
Lost his helmet in the second Super Bowl. And, Frank Wright came in the first Dallas Super Bowl. And then it was close in the last one. And then Emmett just kind of took over in the second.
Yeah. The second. It was close until halftime. And then right after halftime, it was like a different team came out.
Open.
Yeah. And it was just. I mean, Emmitt Smith is my favorite player of all time. He's my first favorite, and then Deion Sanders is my second. So it was like, those were the years where primetime was primetime, though. Mm-hmm. He was playing offense, he was playing defense, he was returning kicks, he was returning punts, he was, hey, what you needed to serve hot dogs? He could have done that. He could have sold popcorn, could have coached the team, whatever he wanted to do, he was out there. Mm-hmm. So it was like, he was just exciting.
Yeah.
But my favorite was always Emmett. So I always just remember Emmett just grinding it out.
Yeah.
Give him the ball. I remember he had the game where he had a separated shoulder. Just kept on grinding. He was like the king back then.
Yeah.
That was my man.
Nicky, you can say who you have. I mean,
who is your favorite Cowboys player if you had to pick one?
Man.
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Tony has a special place in my heart.
Well, no doubt.
I'm a big Terrell Owens fan.
Really?
Yeah, big Terrell Owens fan. I always liked him.
I like that.
DeMarcus Lawrence, of course, but Jason Witten. I mean, I got the Jason Witten jersey on.
Okay.
He was the man.
Jason Witten.
He was something special.
I got the signed picture of him when the helmet came off and he started running the touchdown
against the Eagles.
Right.
Against the Eagles.
So definitely Jason Witten.
Awesome.
Would be the favorite for sure.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah. All right. So we made our picks and we went back a little bit in time. Like I said, I brought the interesting nugget. If you guys do meet the Eagles, it would be, I think, the second time since 1980 was the last time in Philly, going back to when it was Landry versus Vermeil, and it was Dorsett and all. I think Danny White was the first year Danny White came in for Staubach. Staubach retired in '79, I want to say. But yes, it's crazy that I know this. I do my research.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's kind of go back to Saturday's action, where Jacksonville against Kansas City. We'll start with the first game. I thought Jacksonville had the perfect script until the final two possessions of the game, where the turnovers just came at the worst time. They were in the game, and it was within one score. They're moving, and then the wheels just fall off.
Yeah.
Where the fumble happens at a bad time. They're trying to go, I want to say it's for the tie, I think, or trying to make it a one-score game. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but it was close.
But it was close. And they the wheels came off.
Yeah.
So,
worst time to have that, and we see it time and time again, but, I mean, that was tough. The Chiefs are a team that I remember, it's a gambling podcast that I listen to. They're like, the Chiefs win but never cover.
Never cover.
They never cover. They win, but they never win by a lot, but they always put the team away every time. Yeah. They do just what they need to do.
No.
And it's
you gotta kill the Chiefs and bury them out back.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're gonna beat them.
Yeah. And I think the injury to Patrick Mahomes was significant.
Yes.
I think that played a part, but at the same time, it wasn't enough to really put them away.
I mean, that Jags defense could play.
Yeah.
They're good. They're a playoff defense. That the offense isn't there yet, I don't think. And Trevor Lawrence showed them things, but I don't think he's
the guy.
Anything special. Nothing special. No.
He
threw 4 interceptions. He came back and won the game. You could argue that the Chargers, you get 1 more first down, 2 more first downs, and you win that game.
Yeah.
Get an effing. But you can't. He threw 4 interceptions in his first playoff game.
Yeah.
He clearly, he clearly got to him.
I see him as a guy who feels the pressure.
Yes.
And not saying that he'll be that way forever, but as of right now, until he shows us something different, he feels the pressure. And I do want to say that I think it's amazing how much that team has turned around due to coaching.
2-7.
Due to coaching. Straight up due to coaching.
Doug Peterson is a hell of a coach.
They get rid of the cancer that is Urban Meyer, and they bring in Doug Peterson, who actually knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look at how much that team flipped around.
Yep.
I think it really came down to coaching,
100%.
and I think Doug Peterson is an amazing coach.
It just goes to show you in the NFL how much coaching.
So much.
It matters so much.
Yeah.
And I think he's a great coach, and I think wherever he goes, he's going to bring success.
Absolutely.
I think he's got a good team, and I think the Jaguars are going to be somebody to contend with.
I'm
not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, like you
No.
said. I don't know if Sunshine is the guy. I don't know if he's like the dude to lead them there, but they're going to be good, and they're going to make the playoffs.
I might throw a little action on them to win the AFC South next year.
I could see them definitely winning the
throw
AFC
a
South.
little action on that. We'll see what the odds are, but yeah.
But I see
absolutely.
them being a strong team in the future,
Absolutely.
without a doubt, for the next couple of years at least.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the gauntlet of quarterbacks that the AFC has to offer. But I think in the first game, and I'm texting you at halftime. It's funny, I didn't tell you this, but I'll say it here.
Yeah.
I was texting him at halftime, and I'm saying this is going to be one of the worst playoff performances that I have ever seen. We're going to be talking about this right now. Then all of a sudden, the script flipped, and you're like, what happened here?
Yeah.
It was like some weird switch broke, and the machine just goes totally fast, and it sent them in haywire, and it sent them off and running. And there was a coaching gap, like you said, in the game, between Brandon Staley and Doug Peterson. Clearly. There was a
even to speak on that game more, he had 4 interceptions, and they only got 27 points. Right. Like, they really didn't get... Yeah. I feel like if your quarterback throws 4 interceptions in a half...
Probably should have 35 or more.
You should have, like, 50 points. Like, if you're a good team, you should have 40 points.
Give you 4 extra possessions.
Like, what are we doing? Like, I felt like... I remember checking the stat line at halftime and seeing, like, 4 interceptions, and it's 21
points. Not that bad.
It was 27-7. Yeah. And I think the fact that they scored that touchdown before halftime saved them. I think that gave them enough to be like, we're not out.
Yeah, it's a 3-score game.
Not over.
We score 1 touchdown and make 1 stop.
We still have a whole half of football here to play.
No, 100%.
And I also think what helped a lot was, funny enough, it's the fact that the interceptions happened so fast. It was like he came out and it was like interception, interception, interception. Oh, okay. I could play the rest of this game. It was like the fact that it wasn't spread out over the whole game, and the fact it was just like bang, 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 and then the coach could just get to him and be like, "Hey, those are over. We still have 60 minutes of football. We still have whatever, a long 30 minutes of football left to play." Like, I think that gave him enough to be like, "Oh, we're not we haven't lost yet." Even though I threw 4 interceptions, I feel like that. Funny enough, it's the fact that they happened so quick actually helped. Which is unique to say, but it was interesting.
No, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah. It was funny.
Yeah. Obviously, a very tough way to lose. But like you said, they're on the way up, and I'm going to get to the gauntlet of AFC quarterbacks now that the AFC is going to be going through, and at least one of these guys, 99% of the time, should go in. Speaking of Mahomes, we're going to see 2 of them today, Burrow and Allen. We saw Herbert lose a playoff game. We just talked about Trevor. And then what could be, if he stays, even though he hasn't had great playoff success, Lamar's up there. Pickett for Pittsburgh, I think they've got something nice going. I think Pickett will be...
Let's relax with putting Pickett into that.
Well, I'm saying, I'm saying, that's...
He's a good placeholder.
Yeah. But I'm saying he's young, too.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to just think... I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to be able to get them back there. And then Carr's going to probably leave Vegas, so he might go to the NFC. I'm just trying to think of quick names. But I named kind of maybe 6 top, 6 of them that could get in. And then, we don't know any offseason moves. But at least the main 5, one of them, or maybe 5 or 6, one of them is going to most likely represent, barring a crazy Cinderella team that... can flip it upside down.
And they're also young.
Under 27
years old. They're all so young.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, because this is going to break the Chargers fans' hearts, but I love Justin Herbert. I think he's underrated, and I still think he's rated really high, but I just see him being the new Phillip Rivers. I feel so bad, but
so
it's
much
just
talent, such a great
I just feel like he's going to be another story of the team letting him down. Where he's got it. He's got the talent, and I think he's even better than people give him credit for today. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that team. I don't know what they do, but they're not good. I just feel like he needs more. He needs more, and they're not going to get it to him.
They got to get him Sean Payton.
Maybe. That would probably help.
They got to get him Sean Payton.
That would help.
They just said, I think Staley's job is safe.
Yeah.
I know.
The owners don't want to pay him to not coach.
Exactly.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah. That's
the Kingsbury special.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, man. All right, so I hate going to 2 division rivals you don't like, but, the Giants-Eagles, I have a Giants fan coming later this week to, I guess, mourn the end of his season, their season. And I'll talk to him about that Wednesday. But in that game, obviously we clearly saw a huge talent gap between the Giants and the Eagles. The Eagles are loaded from a heavy roster. I think Howie Roseman's done a great job with the offseason moves, the draft, the trades, free agency. But I do think, speaking of the Giants real quick, they have the right coach and the GM to put them over the top. The big question that we've talked about is Daniel Jones the guy that can get them to the future? I don't know what you think on Daniel Jones, if he could be that guy for the Giants. Saquon Barkley's now finishing 4 years. He could be a free agent.
I
But
could
running
not
backs don't last.
be happier with the Giants season because now they have to pay Daniel Jones.
Yep.
And yeah, because what are they going to do? They're not going to franchise tag him. They're going to have to give him a 4-year, $35 million a year contract.
Mm-hmm.
I have to 100% agree. I think Daniel Jones is a serviceable
Fine,
quarterback.
he's fine.
He's
He'll be
good.
anywhere. He can be anywhere
He's
from
good.
14, 15 to 22 in terms of ranking of a quarterback.
He
He's fine.
really does remind me of Eli 2.0 in the sense of the majority of Eli's career, he was not good.
No, you take those 2 Super Bowl runs out of it, and he's not a Hall of Fame. He's not a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Which does give him whatever.
Yeah, you can't take it. You cannot take him away.
The special,
he went out and he did it.
thing that Eli had was he had ice in his blood.
Yes.
You put him into the most high pressure situation, he doesn't blink.
Feel a thing.
He does not. He will perform under any amount of pressure, and there's nothing that you can take away from that.
Agreed. 100%.
That is amazing. But if you're talking over his entire career. He did not have great
Just
numbers.
look at his
He did
draft
not
class.
have great seasons.
Look at who got drafted with him. Ben Roethlisberger and Phillip Rivers. He's the 3rd best quarterback out of those 3.
I agree with that.
But the guy performs when he needed to.
Yes.
The problem is, all the other times that he was around, he was really not anything to be afraid of. It was just those 2 years that he blew
never
out
got
of the
hurt.
water. And he never got hurt.
He was Gumby.
He was great with that. Yeah, he was. But it's just I 100% agree. I'm happy Daniel Jones had the year he had because I think it's going to be an anomaly.
Yep.
I think this is going to be one of those weird years.
Preach.
One of those weird years, and now I'm happy they have to pay him, and now they're on the hook for 4 more years.
Of a guy who's beaten us 1 time.
Yeah.
in
I'm not
3
afraid
years,
of Daniel
so
Jones in the slightest.
We're good.
I think the Giants will be better.
Yes.
I think their coach is awesome.
Right.
I love their coach.
They have a good coach. They have a better coach than us right now.
Yeah.
I think he's great. I think he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't
he's
see
only going to
them-
get better. He's only because he's made a couple mistakes with the time management. He's only going to get better with that stuff.
You could fix that.
But
though. That stuff is fixable.
No,
I just feel like they'll get good. I mean, I don't know if they'll ever he'll take you to the Super Bowl, but it's just
No,
I always said that about Eli too, and then he won 2, so it's
I was just going to say, if he does, it's going to be seasons like that.
He's definitely not a sure thing. He's definitely not a Patrick Mahomes. He's definitely not a Josh Allen.
Joe Burrow.
He's just he's definitely not. He's not a guy.
He'll never
he's not
be
a guy.
elite. He's not elite.
No,
elite.
but he might show up. He
can
show
have
up,
an
he
elite
might take
game,
you there.
which he had an elite game
and he
against
can
the
have
Vikings.
a run. He can have a run.
100%.
They could make another Super Bowl or something, but I don't think he's going to be one of these guys that were
consistently
Daniel Jones
saying,
will win you the game.
Right.
No,
I agree.
100%.
I want to share an interesting Eli nugget for our viewers, and I want to see if I'm the only one that knows this. Every other playoff game that Eli had outside of the 2 Super Bowl runs, he's lost.
Yep.
Okay, I could go through them real quick. 05 against the Panthers, lost. He had a first round bye, I think, and lost. 06 in the Wildcard against the Eagles, lost. 08, number 1 seed, home field advantage against the Eagles, lost.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 3. And then the Packers in Lambeau, his last playoff game, lost. So 0-4 outside of the 2 Super Bowl runs, and he led the league in interceptions 3 times.
I would say many times. Yeah.
Think about what else that means. It means he only made the playoffs 6 times.
Yeah.
So 6 years out of a
his career is so difficult because you can't hate on it.
No.
Because he won 2 Super Bowls and he was the man those seasons.
Yes.
His stats were ridiculous. He was dropping dimes. He was throwing you can't take that away. He beat the 18-1 Patriot. He was the man. But it was only those 2. He's so weird to me.
Yeah.
He's so weird to me.
Yeah.
He makes no sense in my brain because he's just he just blew up for 2 years and then disappeared the rest of them. I never feared him ever. He was never someone to be oh no. But those 2 years just came out of nowhere. Yeah. He is the weirdest because you have to give him credit, but. It's if you take away those 2 years, I don't think he was a good quarterback, but you can't take away those 2 years. He was amazing. So it's he's so weird to me. He's such a weird. I can't think of another quarterback who's like that, to be totally honest. I can't think of another one.
Well, I think one person said he's the Jim Plunkett of our era.
Maybe,
He has 2 Super Bowls somehow, but he had a great team around him and all Hall of Famers and stuff.
But I don't think even Jim Plunkett put up the number. Eli won those Super Bowls.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not he was carried to those.
No,
Super
both
won
those runs,
Super
he was the
Bowls.
guy. Yeah.
He was the man. Mm-hmm. He was the man. He was throwing dimes. He was killing it.
He has two of the best plays in Super Bowl history.
Easily.
Two of the best throws in Super Bowl history.
He was amazing. He is like so weird to me. Like I don't get it. I don't get him at all.
So let me share who we have in the championship. So me and you, I think, had Niners, Eagles. Did you have? I think you had Dallas.
I had Minnesota.
Dallas and
Minnesota.
No, you had Dallas.
I think you had Dallas.
I remember because I looked at your bracket. I was like, what a homer.
Yeah,
you definitely had Dallas and...
Because I have Dallas and
maybe
Chiefs.
The Bills.
I have Cowboys and Indians for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I think it was... I think you had Dallas, Eagles, because I think the way I saw your bracket, you had... Did you have Seattle upsetting San Francisco?
No, I had Minnesota upsetting San Francisco.
No,
our brackets were weird. They didn't...
Yeah, they didn't... That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
I think you had...
No. Oh, that's right. I switched my picks.
Yeah, I think it was...
There we go.
Yeah, you have it right there. I think it was supposed to be Seattle and Philly, because it's 7 against 1.
Yeah.
And then it would have been...
Oh, so your brackets were mixed up.
Yeah.
Because
of... Okay.
Yeah, okay. It makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Because he picked, the seeding.
And then it would have been Cowboys-Vikings in the second round.
Correct.
But
Right.
that's why I'm asking. It would have been what? Dallas-Philly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Dallas-Philly.
Yeah, so this...
Yeah, he still had Dallas-Philly. It was just the earlier game.
Right, that's okay. It's just, I don't... some bracket sites are...
Sure.
So knock on wood, we are all still in it. It
Yes.
still looks good. So just say, let's go. I'm going to start with you on this.
Okay.
Since I've asked Frankie first a lot. I don't want to try to make sure I get you guys on the first question. That's all. Say it does hold up with the Cowboys and Eagles. I know you're going to take Dallas against Philly if it does come to that situation. Obviously, you being a Cowboy fan.
Yeah, I'm going to take Dallas. Maybe I am being a homer, but I we spoke to it a little bit before. I think this is the game. I think they're going to have so much confidence if they beat this team that has knocked them out the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. It's going to be exercising demons, and I just think they're going to be. They know the Eagles so well, and yeah, you could say the Eagles know them well too. But
Right.
I really think that the 49ers are just a better version of the Eagles. Pretty much. Right. The Eagles have the better quarterback.
Right.
They're very similar. They want to run. They want to pound you.
Mm-hmm.
They want to pound you on defense. I mean, their line, the Eagles' line on both sides of the ball is very, very good.
Right.
It's very scary, but
So let's say your championship does happen. You have Dallas upsetting Philly.
Dallas upsetting Philly. Yes.
And then in the AFC you have Bills Chiefs in the neutral site, which is Atlanta, and they're working out, I guess, the tickets and how that'll go.
Yeah.
Some things I heard, but you have Bills Chiefs in a neutral site. Who would you have in that one?
Well, before in the brackets, I have the Chiefs, but we'll have to see what's going on with Mr. Mahomes' high ankle sprain. So that's the latest I'm hearing. Is a high ankle sprain.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
X-rays came back negative.
Yeah.
But high ankle sprains are the worst.
They're no joke.
So,
They're no
yeah.
joke. So I'm
They
sure,
stink.
I'm sure they're going to shoot him up, and he'll go.
He's
sure
a warrior.
Gonna go.
Yeah.
He's going to go.
Yeah.
But how good is he going to be? So
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to rethink that. Like I said before, I had the Chiefs, but I mean, I really could see the Bills. If you have a 70% Patrick Mahomes, can the Bills beat that? I think
Right.
so.
Okay. Now Frankie and I have very similar brackets. So you have Cincinnati against Kansas City in the AFC Championship, and you have San Francisco and Philadelphia. So the exact four as I do.
Yes.
Are you totally with me on that? I don't know if you saw my playoff prediction video. I don't know if you got a chance to. See
I saw your bracket from when you first sent it to us, so I know you have what was it, Niners, Bengals, right?
Yeah, I think we
and
had
the
the same
Bengals
matchup.
winning, I think, or no, Niners winning.
Yeah, so we have the same
Same
Super Bowl
teams.
matchup, same
Yeah.
four. Just we disagree on the winner, which I'll
Yeah.
let you explain now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have the Cowboys making it this far. I still if the Niners come out and dominate the Cowboys, I'm not going to be surprised.
No.
I'm not going to be like, wow, oh no. Yeah, the Niners are a great team.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys can be a great team, but they're not consistent.
Right.
So, if they come out and lay a stinker, which they might do, like I said, Nick Bosa might just feast, and that's that.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles are good. I don't know, man. The Eagles scare me. The Eagles scare me because every time I see them, I'm like, they have no holes on this team. They just remind me of the old Cowboys from the 95, 94 era,
Wow.
where it's they're just rolling over teams and no one's made them blink. No one's made them sweat. No one's made them struggle. They just roll over. And it's just like, whatever. Next team, let's gritty on them. Like, you know, they just come out and dominate. And it's like, I feel like it's almost my homerism, like my Cowboys fandom that is making me be like, can't root for the Eagles because it's like,
right.
But all signs in my head are pointing towards the Eagles as just rolling over this year. But, I mean, I'll say this. Last year, I watched the Super Bowl at home. As I'm watching the confetti fall and who won it last year?
Rams.
The Rams. As I'm watching the confetti fall, the Rams are celebrating. I went on my FanDuel account. I put a $20 bet on the Bengals to win next year. So I still have my $20 future on the Bengals to win the Super Bowl.
It's still good.
And I am sticking by that.
Good.
That is literally,
Good.
I made it the day of the Super Bowl last year while I'm watching the confetti fall.
Nice.
I was like, no way Joe Burrow's losing again. So I have faith in Joe. I mean, I feel like that team is special. Right. No matter what happens, they seem to just figure it out. Yeah. Cincinnati has had so little success over the years, and he has brought some kind of magic to that team.
Right.
His players believe in him. Yep. The fans believe in him. The coach believes in him. He is a special kind of guy.
Right.
It's not very often that someone like him comes around.
Agreed.
He just sits in the pocket. He is in the furnace, and nothing affects him. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I don't know. I believe in him. I just believe in him.
Oh, he's got it.
He does have
got
it.
It's a cliche.
He has
but,
it.
You know.
He is special. He's just a special dude. Like, he was at Ohio State. They told him you're not good enough. He dips, wins a national title. He's got this confidence. He's smoking the cigars. Like, he is just the man. Yep. I have all the faith in the world in him. If he thinks they're going to win, I believe him. So it's just like, I am all on the Joe Burrow train. Mm-hmm. I don't think the X's and O's make sense. I don't think the math of it makes sense. But things don't need to make sense when you have Joe Burrow at the helm. Yeah. He will figure it out for you. Like, he is just the man, and I have all the faith in the world in that guy. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I'm behind the Bengals all the way. I think that they're just due. I think he's special, and I've never seen a quarterback who can get sacked 16 times and still win the game. Like, I just don't know how this guy does this. It's defying logic to me, and it's just like, at that point, like, I can't go against them. I can't. I'm a big Joe Burrow guy, so I'm sticking with him. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have the same matchup as you, so I'll just make my point.
Sure.
Yep.
If they win, I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
I like him. He's a rootable guy. And
anyone left is really like, you know, besides the Eagles, I'm not really hating on anybody, but it's like, the Eagles, it's like tough because if you're hating on them at this point, it's like you're just a hater. Like, they're so good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
But, no, it's fine. But I think the Niners, because the oldest saying is defense, run a game. I know the game's changed, but the Niners have a guy that can run and catch the ball in the backfield with Debo, with a Kittle, with Ayuk. Shanahan, he's been knocking on the door going, 3 of the last 4 years? Could be in the NFC Championship game. Or 2 out of 3, let's go. Could be 3 out of 4. I feel like when you knock on the door so many times, it busts down once.
Eventually, it's gonna open.
And eventually, get a break.
And with that defense playing as well as they've played, McCaffrey, and I think Purdy's just got to be the Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson.
Yes,
that's all he's got to do. And
Joe Flacco.
and I think, like you made a point earlier, we've been spoiled with great quarterback plays a lot of the Super Bowls, and we want the big stars in. Sometimes there's a different way to quarterbacking that we overlook a lot,
right.
and he's just got to play game manager role. I think the last one we've seen was. Well, Foles had a big game against my team, painfully say. I know Garoppolo lost, but even before I'm going back to maybe Flacco, Wilson was the second year. He kind of played the game manager role. Yep. So there's been game managers that can take a team to a Super Bowl.
For sure.
And that's why I'm trying to say, like, not every year a superstar is going to get in. There's times where a game manager will sneak in and they'll win because of a defense and running game. That's why I have kind of the opposite as you in terms of that. But if Burrow wins, I'm happy and stuff. But you have a different matchup, Nicky. You have Cowboys and Chiefs.
Cowboys, Chiefs, I think. Again, pending Mahomes' ankle. But, Cowboys, Chiefs. And if that is the matchup, I'm not going to continue to be a homer. I do think that the Cowboys fall short in the Super Bowl.
Man.
I think, it'll be a little bit too much for them. A little bit, especially being the Cowboys. That Super Bowl week is going to be amped up to 11.
Oh my god!
You know it's going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
If you've never been through it, like
and it's
this
all Jerry's fault.
Oh,
it's all
yes.
Jerry's fault. He loves that.
Yeah.
So it's like
He's
you have
the
no
one
one
that-
to blame but him.
He's the carnival barker. He's the one. He's the carnival barker.
He's the guy with the megaphone. 100%.
This will be Patrick's if he goes, it'll be his 5th or 4th.
Third. He won
third Super Bowl.
Third Super Bowl.
Third
But
Super
he's
Bowl,
made
fifth
it.
championship.
He's made it to the championship game every year.
So
Like,
it'll
he's
be
never missed a championship game.
I thought you were asking Super Bowl, but it was championship. You're right.
Oh no, yeah.
So he has experience there. The Chiefs will win the Super Bowl if it's Cowboys Chiefs.
Right.
And even if it's Bills Chiefs, I still think. I mean, even if it's Bills Cowboys, I don't think the Cowboys can win the Super Bowl this year. I think again, it'll just be a little bit too much for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more of a thing in the NBA where you gotta lose before you can win, but it happens in the NFL too, where sometimes you just have to
Definitely.
lose before you can win.
You want to torture me with these cheap bandwagons are going to be coming at me. You want to torture me, man. Jeez. No, I mean, at least his matchup I'm good with.
Nah.
I mean, if either way, I'm fine. But, oh, no, I can't have another year of cheap bandwagons going off on me. I can't.
I mean, I think we're at the point, too, where it's like whoever makes it, these are all awesome teams.
Yeah, no,
like, they are
honestly speaking,
all...
right.
Yeah, of course. But it's like, whatever happens, I think we're in... And I think we have this entire year. It's been great football.
Right.
Yes. We've had great games.
Yeah.
Great football. Yeah. I have been so happy this year. Like, this was a great year.
No, but honestly,
I've been pleased.
Any team that's still left in it, if they won the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be shocked.
Right. Definitely.
Any team.
Everyone has a chance.
Exactly.
And it's not like... I feel like nobody's an underdog.
No one's like completely out of it. Exactly.
Right.
Where it's
Yeah.
like, oh my
At this
God,
point, I
I
feel
can't
like-
believe you're picking them. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, you can make a case for every team.
If we
still
look
left.
at every team, I think the Cowboys are the biggest underdog right
Yes.
now. And I still think they definitely can win. And that's my team. But I think they are right now the biggest underdog out of every team left. After the Jaguars are gone. Like,
Yeah, we're talking about
and the
people-
Giants. Yeah, like as of right this moment.
Yes,
I
the
think the
people still
Cowboys
left
are
as-
like
as of right
if
now.
they win, that would be the biggest shock.
Correct.
To me at least. But it's like it wouldn't be crazy if they did either. It's like, yeah, I could see this
not
happening.
out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think, pre-playoff bracket, we could agree that Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo were the three clear best AFC
Favorites,
teams.
yeah.
And then there's gap between everybody else. In the NFC, it's Philadelphia, Dallas, and San Francisco. They were the three best in the NFC. So we have the right six now in.
Yeah. And really Philly wasn't even till this year.
No.
Right.
Like the Niners were always good,
Yes.
but Philly was like
Came out of nowhere.
everyone. Not even that they came out of nowhere. It was a lot of talk. It was a lot of Philly's going to be good this year. Philly's good. It's like, yeah, but you guys say that every year. You're like Cowboys fans. As much as we hate each other, we're the same. It's our year. It's the boys' year. It's like, no, it's not. It's not. But this year it was. It was the Eagles' year this year. They ran the table, and it's like I don't know, man. They're like the new, I mean, they won one recently, but they were definitely like nothing to be afraid of last year.
No.
And now they're there, and it's
Right
like,
back.
oh, they are the favorites.
Yeah.
So it's going to be good football. I'm excited.
Oh,
I can't wait.
I'm excited.
No.
All right. So we talked about a lot about the divisional round. We talked about some wildcard games, and we talked about our potential Super Bowl matchups,
Yes.
potential championship matchups. So we've covered a lot, in there. I know people have been asking me, where's the wildcard analysis and stuff like that. Well, I figured we added with the All Cousins edition. We squeaked both some divisional in there, some wildcard action in there. I figured we get the best of both rounds in there, and I'll have more Wednesday with my friend that's a Giants fan, and he's still mourning over a loss. So,
He needs a couple days.
I told him no hibernating, no flaking. Okay, but I told him, I said I can't bust out the cigar because I got to save it for a better thing. So, but I told him no hibernating, no flaking. So he'll be on Wednesday. Guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having
on,
us.
man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I mean,
This was great.
This is one I've been waiting for so long, and it was worth the wait.
Absolutely.
But I will
Had fun.
Yes. So, let me announce the next episode schedule. I will have the next episode possibly Wednesday night. We got another guest coming, or Thursday morning it will be uploaded. So there will be another Lounge Time episode next week, and Friday will be the Championship Sunday Guarantee It's edition. So just an upcoming schedule for those that are following us. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button so you guys can get all the updates that you need of the NFL season. Guarantee It's Lounge Time episodes And I will see you guys Wednesday for the second of the super doubleheader episode of Lounge Time. Until then, enjoy the 2 divisional round games today. And I will see you guys Wednesday on the next episode of Lounge Time. Have a good night, everyone. Woo!